Well, fellas, the offensive line was pretty good. You guys want to talk about that? Offensive line, how good was that? How good were they? Pointing in the right direction, right? Offensive line.
Run blocking under center looked good. Kingsley and Simmons were getting some movement. Simmons handled Hines Allen one-on-one multiple times. It was nice.
Yeah, I think that, they keep trending like this. I think the offense is not only fixed, but now we're starting to ask, is this a better offense than even the 2018 Chiefs? I mean, this offensive line, this is 2 weeks now, Josh, of consecutive strong play from your $20 million right tackle who just got engaged. I don't know. Maybe it was the ring that really took him to the next level.
Yeah, but it was an illegal formation. Growth from the young guys. Yeah, that wasn't his fault. That wasn't even his fault.
It wasn't even his fault.
Not even his fault.
That's just growth. So, good news. Good news.
Yeah, great news. I mean, the way this offensive line is moving people up front, you couldn't ask for a better start to the season with these 5 guys through the first 5 weeks of the season. Couldn't ask for a better start. I mean, Jalen Moore's just sitting there waiting like he's in, like he's just in purgatory.
Yeah. And that'll do it for today's edition of Only Weird Games. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you on Thursday. Win as a team, you lose as a team. The Chiefs definitely lost as a team on Monday Night Football against the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll bring you a team effort of our own, hopefully a slightly cleaner one, here on this edition of Only Weird Games. Seth Keysor, Nate Taylor, I am Joshua Brisco. Nate, you get the talking stick first because you were in Jacksonville. You flew back this morning from good old Duval. We're going to basically just split this show into 3 little sections and just go offense, defense, and special teams and then figure out if there's anything left over. But from the in-person view that you had there and the spot in the locker room, the flight back, how are you doing and how are the Chiefs doing last night in your eyes?
Well, gotta say, this is one of the few times, Josh, that I, for whatever reason, couldn't listen to the post-game show on 96.5 The Fan because my ears it was yes, it was. I asked David Hughes, hey, he get anybody in the locker room? And he said, Andy Reid. And I said, oh. So, didn't hear the post-game show, but I did hear a guy by the name of Kent Swanson lose his mind. I think my buddy and dear friend Tucker D. Franklin, D stands for despondent, lose his mind. Maddie was trying to bring me back to reality, and because he was trying, he lost his mind. It's October 7th, guys. It's October 7th. Yeah, you did say some things, Tucker. Thank you in the private chat. So there were multiple moments by myself where I just started laughing. Where I thought of something that occurred in the game that I just previously covered for ESPN, and I said we can't even put that on the website because there's so much other stuff that happened. Like, on one end, I'm in a place of like, this is really good for them. Maybe they needed one more lesson. Maybe they just needed one more, like, AFC South, you should have won, but you lost. Here we go again game where it's like, you're better, you're better, but it's yet again another AFC West team, or excuse me, AFC South team, and this time it's not even the Titans. It's not even the Colts.
Division. Bleep this division. They don't need to be in the NFL anymore. We can do this with 28 teams. I've had enough.
It's the Jaguars. I'm laughing because there are so many examples that I'm not even sure we're going to get to over the course of the next hour as to why the football team that you root for has Patrick Mahomes and they're 2-3, and it's comically hilarious when you really sit there and think about it because, you know, I'm not saying it's a tight locker room, but we've been in that locker room before. I've seen what that locker room's like. It's very narrow. It really does a good job of splitting the offense defense. I can't even find Harrison Butker. That's how tight it is, kids. He don't want me to find him either. All right? So
did you try looking outside the boundaries of the locker room?
I hadn't thought of that. But maybe that's where he was. He was not with his teammates in the room of play.
Fair enough.
So I look to my right and I'm like, well, Jamari Connor's depressed. Let me look to my left. Oh, wow. There's Trey Smith, Kingsley Sulemana, Josh Simmons. They don't matter. Let's go to Chris Jones. He looks like he's in the upside down underworld. Okay. Does anyone have a pulse in this room? Oh, let's go to Trick McDuffie. No, not yet. Not yet. I'm not ready. Yet.
Go. So someone was mad. Well, that's nice.
Okay. Let's go to let me turn back around. Guys, the way Isaiah Pacheco puts his clothes back into his very small, very tight suitcase is the same way he runs the football. So he's angry. And it's like, man, that's the best game he's played all year. Yeah, we gotta find somebody else. Let's just keep looking. Let's keep looking because he's putting his pants in his suitcase, and I don't like the way it looks. So let's move on. Who wants to be the first person to utter their mouth after this hilarious performance? And I truly mean that, ladies and gentlemen. I know the football team that you root for started your work week in a terrible manner. Okay? A absolute terrible manner. And there he was. We made eye contact and I wanted to look away. And he was asking me, please, Nate, go somewhere else. Please. Go somewhere else, man. I don't want to do it. And then I was like, but I'm being paid. I done came all this way. I done watched whatever it was. That was those 60 minutes. Hey, man, you got a second? I'll make it real quick. Real quick. All right, man, come on over. So, hold on, let me get my phone. Let me get my recorder ready to go. Let's make sure that this is being on the record.
You gotta have
recorded.
that ready. You're a pro. You can't be extending that in the moment in that pocket of time.
No, I did it on purpose. I want you to see that I am now taking my phone out of my hand, out of my pockets, and I'm going to hit a button. It's a red. It's going to be recorded. I mean, you know this, but I just, it's a cooling off period. I want to give you the chance to know that what you say here will be written down. Okay. And by the way, you're the first soul coming out the gates. I love how everybody's guessing in the chat right now.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of players going. There are a couple good ones here.
So I'm gonna click this button. Okay, you ready? Here we go. I mean, what a throw, right? I mean, just what a throw. How is it? What's it like to play the hardest position in sports not named quarterback? On a team sport. What's it like when you're in good position? You're in trail coverage. You're doing your job. You turned your back to the ball. You see it in the air. Do you want to be more? I said, do you want to be more plaster, or are you just trying to go for it because you want to make a play? And Jalen Watson said, "It's a hell of a throw, man. It's a hell of a throw. Yeah, it is. It's a hell of a throw. You was there. I ain't gonna lie. All right, man. Second question. Now look. Y'all up 14-0. It's 3rd and 15. What happened? Because it looked like he slid into you. You slid into him. What happened? What happened, baby? Because like if you don't touch him or if he don't touch you, and the referees don't have eyes, then it's 14-0. They punting the ball right back to you, baby. And I ain't even gotta go talk to Nick Bolton. What happened? And Jalen Watson, to his credit, says, quote, "I've just got to play better and not leave it in the ref's hands." All right, young man. Hey, you know what? You can stand on it. You can stand on this one. You know what? Let me get you out of here on this. Let me get you out of here on this. Man. Because again, I told you I'd make it real quick now. Real quick. Hey, bro. This got to be the worst loss of the season, right? Just so I know that
worst
that
loss
like
of
my
the season so far.
So far, thank you. Yeah. Because I got eyes, and you got to know that I got.
I mean, the Colts and the Texans and the Titans.
Hey, man, just level with me here, right? This sucks, don't it? This bad. This real bad, ain't it? And he says, anytime the defense has a chance to go win the game, we want to win the game. It's a bad feeling. All right, bro, get out of my face. All right, man. You know what? Let me get out of your face. So, hey Nick, what happened on that ball? Did Drew Tranquil see you? Did he know you were there in proper position to make the interception? He saw you with his eyes, right? Hey Chris, man. They wearing your ass out, ain't they? They just wearing you out, bro. Look, man, it's hard. It's the heavy is the head that wears a crown, man. You making all the money. I get it, man. They can't give you a blow. Not a blow. I can't give you a blow. What happened? What happened, man? Hey, Pat. They got you, didn't they? Yeah, man, they got you. Look, it happens. It's the game. It's the game within the game, man. It happened. Hey, man, like, they ain't played that coverage all year. I know. You like Peyton Manning, man, where you get upset because they ain't do what they supposed to do because you've been watching all that film. I'm right there with you, dog. You know what? It's upsetting, ain't it? Penalties. I mean, what? I can't find Jack Cochran. Where he at? Can you go find him? Where he at? I mean, Nico looked at me and I said, Nico, I don't even want. Nope. I know, baby. I know. We can't even block no more. And don't even get Tucker started on. You can't even have two guys block the same guy on a kickoff. So look, man, it was bad news. It was bad news, Bears. And I just thought, ladies and gentlemen, your football team needed this. Yet again, they needed another reminder, which says quite a lot about your team. That hey, they need to be reminded that the game is 60 minutes. That you can come with all the intensity, you can come with all the focus, all the energy. You could remind other teams that you better, because you are. But you got to keep that for like 60 minutes, or the other team might run you down. Or you got to stop doing this. Where I'm gonna leave you guys, because this is everybody. Josh, do you want the PC version or do you want the real version?
Don't put that on me.
Yeah, man, I gotta. hey, Tucker, do you want the PC version
here?
Or the real version, bro? What the fans want?
Tucker's
Y'all want the real one? Here. Y'all want to close y'all ears? Because I'm gonna say this about 7 times today.
Here, hold on. Tucker, can we make Nate full screen so Seth and I don't have to be associated?
Associated? Okay, great. Look, guys. Look, welcome to my.
Our names are still on there.
Welcome to my office. Okay, Pass Lou says keep it real. Tucker says, did Tucker say keep it real? You ready? You ready to blow the dong? Okay. All right, let's blow the gong, man.
What?
Blow the gong and the dong. All right? Stop doing dumb shit. All right? Why are we 2-3? Because you can't stop doing dumb shit. All right? You stop doing dumb shit, you might be 4-1. Hell, you might be 5-0. Hell, the Jags, you know what they didn't do at the end of the game? Dumb shit. They stopped doing it. Hey, so when, everybody can be agreement on this. You stop doing dumb shit, y'all start winning games consecutively, and that's the real, Todd. I mean, that's the real. Play the dong. Play the gong. Stop doing dumb shit. All right, let's get to the offense.
Well, we need to go ahead and take a timeout, so I'll say I'm calling all Chiefs fans. You could be on the field at the 50 inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now. Enter for a chance to win to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pregame coin toss. Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Seth, I'm going to give you the homework here. We're going to take our break. When we come back, that's not Nate Taylor. That's Tucker.
Play the dong.
That's Tucker playing the dong. That's not what happened. I don't want Tucker getting in trouble. If you're on audio only, it was just Tucker sitting there, surprised to be on screen. Seth, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to let you decide where we start, offense, defense, or special teams. That's next.
My name is Terrell Jolly. A lot of people call me TJ, founder and CEO of Integrity Capital Management. So Integrity Capital Management originally started out as a property management firm, but we slowly transitioned to what is described as an incremental development firm that's focused on situational housing. I know most people say affordable, but we believe in creating housing for people that are actually in need and built to the end user. I believe everyone needs a home because when you have home, you have hope. The reality is that when you're building a business, one thing you don't think about is like what a true banking relationship means. And, I had the honor and privilege of meeting Debbie early on in my career when I was just trying to get going. And as a small business, it's really challenging at times because people don't understand the concept or not believe the longevity because you're just getting started. But Debbie was willing to take a chance on me, be patient with me. I almost look at it like a grassroots initiative. She's seen and believe what I'm about. Anybody that's really true about their business and want to get some things done, I would definitely trust hands down Emprise because Deb's team, along with Aaron and Jackie and all the amazing people that work behind the scenes, even from the treasury side, I would say, hey, give them an opportunity because you won't be disappointed and you will actually be in hands that actually somebody care and that will see you from start to finish.
We've got kind of a new fun thing in the Chief in the North newsletter. Seth Keysor wrote about the Chiefs' self-inflicted wounds and their loss here. Seth, this is your Lord of the Rings at this point. You've been working on this for a while. You've got hundreds of pages on this exact topic right now. The self-inflicted wounds that have gotten the Chiefs in trouble over the last few years. Last night was a pretty stellar example of what happens when those wounds land against a competent football team, which the Jags clearly are. Where do you want to start? Offense, defense, special teams, the ball's yours.
I think it's best to start with the offense because I think that might allow us to bring things a little bit back into at least some good stuff before we talk about some of the problems with defense, special teams. Because I think we're all just going to be almost exclusively mad when we talk about the defense and special teams. The only thing that I'll have to say in terms of like defense is like, well, they have played multiple good games in a row. And so, Spags has a long track record. We know they're going to be at least an average defense. That was really unfortunate, all that. That's just going to make us mad. Special teams is just going to make me really mad. Defense might make me madder. It's hard to say. So let's start with the offense. Here's the thing that's interesting to me. The Chiefs average 7.6 yards per play. That is scorching. That is, that is,
which is why I'm laughing. It's crazy.
It's an exceptional day on offense. They put up 28 points. That's, that would be in the upper class of the league.
It's above their average.
It is. And so they moved the ball well. They had one, I think, 3 and out, maybe 2. They moved the ball well. They ran the ball well when they ran the ball. They passed the ball well when they passed the ball. They overall, the entire operation looked better than it's looked all year against one of the best defenses they faced all year. That's really good news. Worthy, I hope they unlock him more, but like he definitely makes a huge difference out there. Thornton is legit in the downfield passing game. Brown has some hit or miss moments, but man, made a couple of tough catches. Like once just getting rocked in the middle of the field. That sideline toe tap was a thing of beauty.
Gorgeous.
After that play, I was convinced the Chiefs are going to win. If anything, I think the Jags unintentionally did themselves a favor. And maybe the Jags did let them score. To me, that was the move at that point. You don't waste one more timeout. You really need that, all that. But so the offense overall, the offensive line looked good against a good pass rush. Guys were getting open. Travis Kelce looked good. So there's all. Mahomes was cooking, was making tough throws. His deep ball looked good overall. The thing, Nate summed it up well in terms of the problem is, when someone's like, how do you manage to lose a game where you move the ball so well, where you're looking 7.6 yards per play. Mahomes threw for over 300 yards, scrambled for another 60 on only 6 attempts. Running backs combined for only 89 yards, but on only 15 attempts. It's almost 6 yards a carry.
Right.
They were moving. They were efficient. How do you lose a game like that? You lose a game like that by doing a bunch of dumb stuff. And no one was exempt. Absolutely no one. To an extent, I almost want to give Mahomes a pass because that was a great defensive play call, and the other guys get paid too.
Yep.
You show a zero blitz, and then you'd pop that linebacker out into coverage exactly where he would be if he's zero blitz, and you use Mahomes as pre-snap recognition against him.
Yep.
Great play by them.
Yep.
At the same time, throwing a pick six on second down on your 1 yard line is rough. And Mahomes would tell you, I got to see that. And he was trying to get the ball out. I had some people trying to say, oh, he was trying to no-look pass. No, he wasn't. He was staring right at the guy.
No, he's trying to encourage the blitzers to create more space for that window, not realizing he's not, Devin Lloyd is not, he's actually not blitzing.
Right. And so he's trying to get the ball out immediately. It is a bang-bang thing because the hope is you get the ball out so fast before ideally, if they are blitzing the way they look like they're blitzing, even though it's a zero blitz, they do have someone from the secondary that's going to try to come down and crash on those routes. That's the way that works. Usually someone in man, they're just trying to come in. Anyway, that's not what it was, though, and Lloyd made a great play. And then even if Mahomes almost made the tackle on him, even if Mahomes makes the tackle, it's an entirely different thing. But that is a 14-point swing at worst, or maybe. And it's at least a 10-point swing, barring Butker missing a chip shot, which even as bad as he's been this year, I don't think he misses that one. It's an incredibly pivotal moment. So when you have massive swing plays and almost all of them go against you, because people talk about the pick play, what?
Seth, they were 4 or 5 in red zone and goal-to-goal opportunities. The odds say they're scoring a touchdown there.
Yes, the odds say they're scoring a touchdown there. And so people could talk about, when you talk about big swing plays, people could talk about the pick play on Kelsey's touchdown with Juju Smith-Schuster. That wasn't this giant swing play where it was a touchdown or 7 the other way or a turnover or change of possession. They still would have gotten points either way. Those weren't the giant swing plays. There were 2 giant swing plays in this game, and both of them went the Jags' way, and both of them, it's the Chiefs' fault. I mean, the Jags made a great call there, and then when we talk about the defense, Liam Cohen drew up a great look, got Tim Patrick wide open, he drops it, McDuffie almost catches it, and Tranquil in a bang-bang play, see ball, get ball,
Yep.
He knocks it out of Bolton's hands. We'll talk about the defense in a minute. That's how you move the ball really well, and you don't win the game, is with a pick six, because now you're spotting the other team 7 points and taking away 7 points from yourself. I mean, you think about that. You give the Chiefs 35. You give the Jags 24. And obviously other things change within the game. But that's a completely different game in terms of that. Someone did point out, Bolton punch, not a swing play. Great point. So one of the 3 huge swing plays went the Chiefs' way. That's a great point, Tyler Clark. Awesome point there. The unfortunate reality was everything just kind of went downhill for the Chiefs after that in terms of self-inflicted wounds. And the offense wasn't exempt because of that particular play and just a couple other things. And so in terms of the offense overall looked good, and that's encouraging, and I'm curious about a couple things that I want to see against the Lions. We'll see. The Lions are great. I think even if the Chiefs put up 30, they're going to have a hard time winning that game. But the offense, what you have a couple penalties that are really a bummer. The illegal formation, you have one drive where you've got an illegal formation. It was called on Taylor, but it wasn't on him. And then that drive fizzles after that because they go from 2nd and 4 and 2nd and 9. Right? Then you end up with another penalty, this one by Kingsley Suamataia, that they go from 2nd and 3 at Jacksonville's 37-yard line to 1st and 19 back on their side of the field.
Yep.
Right? That's those penalties are the other thing with the offense. You can move the ball really well, but after you've moved the ball 30 or 40 yards into enemy territory, if you get a 10-yard play that takes you right out of field goal range, now suddenly you might face, a 4th and 2 partly in their territory, and that's the problem. So that pick 6, penalties, and punting twice on 4th and 2 when you're gaining yourself maybe 25 yards of field position. Andy Reid's been going for it all year, and he just stopped. And it was almost as though I don't know if he didn't feel the need to be as aggressive with how well the offense was moving. I don't know. But those 2 punts, I count that as part of the offense. That's an offensive play calling issue. That is an issue of
not respect you. Punt the ball away.
That's what it looked like, man. The Ravens and Eagles got a different 4th down aggression than the Jags did.
Yes.
Drives me crazy.
And it was foolish in some ways. And to be fair, with the way the offense was moving, I get it. I really do. So you got penalties. You got a couple of times you really should have gone for it because, again, 25 yards of field position, in my opinion, is not worth a possession. It's just not. And with their current punter, you are not coffin cornering people inside the 5. That just rarely happens with him. So don't think it's going to happen, especially when you're punting from like the 45. It's a tough ask. Cole Court was able to do it for years, but he didn't have a huge leg, at least later in his career.
Right.
And he was able to pin guys inside the 10 consistently. They're just not doing that. They're maybe at the 10. Well, great, 30 yards field position. That's not that big a deal.
Right. And this was something that was discussed in real time in the press box amongst me, Pete Sweeney, Vahe Gregorian, Sam McVal, obviously McDowell, not McVal, Sam McDowell, and then Jesse Newell, where we said, don't you want to take the penalty? Don't you actually want the delay of game 5 yards back?
Yeah, give your punter some room.
Give your punter a little bit more space if you're actually going to punt. And they chose not to do that either, which again, where is that a special teams coach suggestion? Is that something that someone needs to make clear that, hey, if we're going to punt from the 40, based on our punt, more space is actually more optimal for him. Plus, he put a little bit more hang time on it, too. Mm-hmm. Take the penalty. You already got 13 of them.
Right. And so that's really where, if you want to know, how can our offense look so good and, quote-unquote, only put up 28, penalties and overly conservative decisions with punting, and one good play call done at the wrong time and executed kind of poorly. Everyone in the stadium knew Xavier Worthy was getting that little pop pass. Now, I'm not sure why. I haven't even looked back at it to see why it was set up so different, why it was so obvious it was coming. I don't know why.
Well,
I just
rewatched it here a little bit ago. They are encouraging, kind of like I don't want to say like exactly like the Nick Bosa thing that we used to see, but like they are encouraging the D lineman to not necessarily be blocked, but like hopefully he's he's put in a bind from a decision standpoint that Worthy just goes by him.
Right.
But because this has been on tape, and to your point, Seth, because they telegraphed it, he's not in a bind. It's the first play of a drive. So in terms of an aggression, you would want your defensive end to go as quickly as possible to get a possible negative play, which is indeed what happens. I think Mahomes, after the play, pats his chest because he says, that could have been one where I went against our own tendencies and actually handed the ball to Pacheco.
Right. And that's they've used that play with a lot of success. They shouldn't eliminate it from their lexicon. It's a great way to slow down pass rushes. But in the time that they did it, it was a really predictable moment to do it. And for one reason or another, it was telegraphed a lot more. I mean, I knew that was coming. Hines Allen made a great play. Again, Those guys get played too. But they get paid too. Those are like the offensive side of things. If you're wondering why they didn't put up 35, 42 or so, they played well enough to put up 40. One horrifyingly timed turnover and a couple penalties, and then one play call in particular really took away from what was otherwise a dominant offensive performance. So I would just say that's how the offense sputtered at the worst possible times, and unfortunately it came at really bad times.
I was going to mention that we texted about this a little bit earlier. If you can't see the rundown, if you're listening after the fact, like offense sputters is the topic we're on right now. That was my word choice. And so I was like, I don't know if it's fair to say they sputter. And certainly it's not the best way to summarize all 4 quarters of their football. That's certainly, they weren't mostly sputtering. They just, you got to exactly what I've been sitting here thinking, Seth. It was just at the absolute worst times, and at times where not sputtering then ends the football game. Not literally, but man, the sequence wrapped around halftime there is so frustrating. The Chiefs are up 14-0. The Jags drive and get a touchdown. They go 3 and out to pick up 2 yards and punt it on 4th and 8. They move back, move forward, whatever. So they punt there, and you go, okay, well, they're not going to double dip, but they do get the ball out of halftime. They get the ball out of halftime. They go 3 plays, 8 yards, and then on 4th and 2, they punt and, field position game, whatever. The Jags march down with that football and score. Then in a tie game, the Chiefs offense looking good again, getting back on the horse, move down there, and then you have the pick 6, and all of a sudden it's 21-14 Jags. When a couple good sequences of football, anything that looked similar to what we had seen in the first quarter, the first drive of the second quarter, some of the stuff we saw later, you bring any of that offense out, and we're talking about a game, again, maybe that's not literally over at halftime, but you are so in control of that it makes the Jags play differently, it lets you play differently. It might have let the offense, I don't think you really mentioned this very much, Seth, and I just want to sound the freaking alarm. Isaiah Pacheco bounced a run. Kareem Hunt had a 33-yard run and hurdled a guy. I didn't know he could do either of those things. The running game looked pretty good when they were leaning on it a little bit. And now it still ends with Patrick Mahomes leading the team in rushing. And Trevor Lawrence led the Jags in rushing. Yet again, the Chiefs defense wrangles a running back that everybody's afraid of. Another chapter of that story. But you get a functional ground game working, and I just wonder if the Chiefs are able to punch in one of those for a touchdown before or after the half, if we get a much heavier dose of the run game, and this thing's just sleepy in the fourth quarter instead of infuriating.
And I really like that you're saying that because it helps me bring it around, I think, because someone just asked, are we still angry? Is it safe for optimistic fans to come out? It's about to get a whole lot angrier. But I'd like to close the offense
this
conversation.
This has been the good part.
Let's go.
The offense looks good. The offensive line looks good. And we'll see how that continues. I expect some ebbs and flows still with Suamataia and Simmons. But honestly, with the way Thornton's playing and bumping down Brown and the way Worthy looks, bumping down Brown and Juju to a certain spot, I think there's a chance that when Rice returns, this could be an incredibly scary offense. An incredibly scary one, which would then force teams to play a little differently. So this could be, even if they end up like 2-4, I'm still not going to be like, oh no, they're done, because they could win 10 in a row. The offense isn't just like, we keep saying, oh, you're like one thing away from being a really good offense. They look like a really good offense. Stop doing dumb stuff. I get it. Fair enough. Great play by the Jags, whatever. That is encouraging to me because the mechanism of it all looks so much smoother, just like it did against the Ravens, just like it did against the second half. We are now 10 straight quarters more or less, of the Chiefs' offense looking good. Not every drive, but overall looking very good even. And that's without Rashee Rice, who in preseason looked ready to do some real damage and who fits in a lot of needs they have right now. So that's the good news on that. That's why I'm not distraught. I am upset because the self-inflicted wound stuff, the offensive stuff we named, the pick six, it's frustrating, but man, they called a good play. The play call by Andy, I get it. It's worked before against aggressive defensive ends. The penalties, yeah, that'll drive you nuts. The fourth down, now that makes me really mad. Now we're starting to get to a level of something. But the stupidity on defense and special teams, and there's no one exempt there. In fact, I don't know if there's anyone on special teams who did well. That is much more upsetting to me.
Brashard Smith?
I do like Brashard Smith.
Yeah. I hope you enjoy seeing him on special teams. That's all he's doing. That's not fair or true.
That's
We
not
got
true.
a little bit
Yeah,
of
that's not
involvement,
true.
but we need to take our second timeout real quick though. Kind of the convergence of everything you just mentioned there, Seth. We had a super chat earlier from Joseph Jackson. So, do you think this team can actually beat a good team? They're 0-3 against good teams this year and could easily be 2-4 this time next week. I'm going to add before you guys answer it. Good team is a weird thing in the NFL because good teams lose to middle of the pack teams constantly. Are the Broncos a good team? Maybe. The Eagles are a better team, and they lost to them. Are the Patriots a good team? Good, yeah. Well, the Bills lost to them on Sunday night. That's not to dismiss Joseph's question at all. It's an interesting one, knowing that it's Lions, Raiders, Commanders, Bills, Broncos, Colts. Like that. Those are the next games down the docket. It's a question that they have to answer now. That was never a question you could ask about the Chiefs. Like, do it against a good team. And it is right now. I don't know if either of you guys have a real strong take on that, but I thought it was a good question.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean they can. They've shown repeatedly they can. This year, it's been a slog. Like Nate said, don't do dumb stuff. Now maybe they'll do dumb stuff every week. We'll see. But we've had an identical conversation, and this is where it gets tough, right? You really end up. You can say what I'm about to say until you reach week 17, or until they're statistically eliminated from playoff contention, or until they lose in the wild card round, or whatever, right? We've said this stuff before. We've done this stuff before, and it's always gotten tightened up enough for them to make a deep playoff run. And so until they show they can't, I'm gonna at least look at it. They were 3-4 midway through 2021, and so I'm willing to at least wait and see. So yes, they can, but man, it sure would be nice if they did.
And those margins are thin. That's just the only thing I was going to add. And you're right. Hey, look, if you lose to the Jags and beat the Raiders, you're at 3-4, and you're clawing from there, I guess. But, yeah, you'd be 3-4 after those two games. Well, so we'll take our second timeout, and we'll come back, and everybody can go ahead and adjust their headphone volume, can move proper distance from the microphone, maybe proper distance away from your speakers, and we'll talk about the defense.
Chiefs Kingdom, I have got a question for you. What is your favorite touchdown? Well, for me, I can confidently say that my favorite touchdown, it's the next one, because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. From the first touchdown score to anytime touchdown props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. From spreads to money lines, same-game parlays, regular parlays, you want it, DraftKings has got it. Here's the best part. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. I use DraftKings Sportsbook, and you should too. Your team hitting pay dirt pays out to you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Minimum minus 500 odds required. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Up next here, I'm going to let you go ahead and take the first direction on this defensively. Do you want to pick a defensive line topic or a secondary topic?
I like secondary. What are we doing to Chamari Connor's career?
Dicking around.
Chamari Connor is a solid safety.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good box safety, can play cover 2 well, can do a lot of things that are really valuable to a team, and we're playing him in man looks on aggressive blitzes on 3rd and 13 with the game on the line against Brian Thomas Jr. I'll say the same thing that I've said a million times when I talk occasionally about some of the things Spags does that drives me nuts. Spags knows more about football in this pinky fingernail than I will ever know. I could retire from both. I could retire from the day job and only focus on learning about football for the rest of my life, and I would still not know a fraction of what Steve Spagnuolo knows about football. But I know that Chamari Connor doesn't belong in the slot at corner, and apparently Spags doesn't.
What? I'm sorry, Seth, but where are we at in the calendar, baby?
2 and 3.
2 and 4.
2 and 4.
Hey, baby. Hey. We don't respect you enough to even put.
You don't
They should.
You don't
They're 2
respect
and
Brian
4, Nate.
Thomas
That makes me
Jr.
feel
enough.
crazy.
You don't respect one of the most productive receivers out of the slot
You know what?
over the last 2 years, and it doesn't work. You can't justify things that continually
know
don't
what?
work. And
You know what?
I don't like this game when I'm actually in a bad mood.
We'll come back here in January, and that tape will be meaningless. We'll come back in January. We'll come back here. I don't mind coming back here.
The tape will be meaningless. The record will be meaningful.
Yeah, and if you're 6 and 10, no
This is
one's going to
crazy,
care.
Look. I'm just saying it. I'm just saying it to gas you guys up
I
because
know.
this is the way he operates, guys. This is the good and the bad. I know Dana says if we get to January. Look, man.
I mean, everyone gets to January because,
True.
football season lasts.
Right. Right. Let's get to let's say late January. Look, you want to see Ashton Gelati. I know I'm bouncing around. What week is it? You want to see Noah Williams? I'm sorry, he doesn't know the defense yet.
He doesn't know how to play man coverage.
He looked pretty good doing exactly that.
That's just it. It's like, well, Noah Williams couldn't possibly decipher man coverage while we send 6 with only a single safety out there to help. There's no way we could say, hey, Noel, can you cover? You see that guy? And if they run a pick, just switch. Like, he doesn't know how to do that because it's weird. I saw him do that.
We literally saw him do it less than a week ago.
And that's just it. You are setting your players up to fail. And that is so frustrating to me.
But I gotta put it on tape.
Well, it was on tape all of last year.
I gotta do it again, Seth, because
You don't. You know what? It really isn't on tape. Chris Jones at free safety. Oh man. Oh, they'll never know what's coming now. Derek Nottie has never played edge before. Hey, Pat, that was a really great hustle play the other day. Why don't we put you at middle linebacker? Then it'll be on tape, and no one will know what to do at all. This is ridiculous. They are going to be looking for Chamari Connor. You know what they did learn about Chamari Connor is he can't cover in man, so teams are going to be looking for him like snipers on the event that they do some kind of spread look to where the safety has to come down into the box and play coverage, and they'll know because it's on tape that he can't play man free.
What beating the Chiefs in October is not the same as beating the Chiefs in late February, and this is the trial and error.
All right, so Seth, what I just realized is
failed.
because of everything else with Joshua Brisco, the new podcast sensation that's sweeping KCSN and the nation, I now have the ability to mute Nate's mic again, and I've done that.
Oh, thank you. This is where, and Nate, and everyone should know, Nate does this just to gas me up. It is not my favorite bit, especially when I'm not in a great mood. But I don't, The idea that you need to put, I'm sorry, if Steve Spagnuolo thinks he needs to put the fact that he's willing to put Shamari Connor at slot after he did it for like 500 snaps last year, I don't know why you need to do that. It's like, oh, wow, we better put it on tape.
Hey, you know what? Trevor Lawrence hasn't shown me bleep anytime I played against him. So, hey, boys, show me. Show me you know.
He'd already gotten cooked from the slot once. And this is where it's just, it's nonsensical.
60
it's
minutes.
Stupid. If that's the reason he's doing it, it's stupid. And I'm telling you, stupid.
I'm telling you this. There is a lot of logic to what I'm telling you guys. There's
not.
Well, I know. I'm just saying there's a track record of him doing this year after year after year after year. He put, he you know, I know we're talking about Shamari Connor right now. He put Najee Johnson in an absolute hellscape for large stretches of last season, so that, you know what? Hey, he not on the field when it matters most in late January. This is just what he does. He tinkers, he experiments, he does bland stuff just to do it for 8 to 6 weeks, depending on the situation. This is just like no Williams does not know the whole defense. And so therefore, by rule, he can't be on the field for a gotta have it drive. The first gotta have it drive really of the season, because that's the first time the Chiefs defense was in a chance to be the closer once Mahomes gave you the lead late in the game. So you know what? For the rookie's sake, just sit over here and watch. Let's put Shamari Connor back out there. Let's see what it's like. And ultimately,
can they do that when Christian Fulton's back instead?
Well, yeah, that would help. But ultimately, guys, he don't respect Trevor Lawrence. He needed 60 minutes of Trevor Lawrence telling him, please respect me. You want to spy? Get out of my face. You want me to blitz against him? Get out of here. Guys, he didn't blitz nearly as much as he should have based on any advanced metric that you saw. The one interception is when you blitz. The one time that you're getting consistent pressure against Trevor Lawrence is when you blitz. And I know much of that comes later in the game. He didn't blitz this man at all in the first half. Let him get super duper comfortable and honestly relied on his 4-man pass rush, of which we said, why he doing that? Why he doing that with this group without
right, Seth,
Omar Norman Lott?
Seth, I want to help you. I'm joining your cause. I've been looking around. I've been on Pro Football Focus from last year and trying to find Shamari Connor's snap alignments. Mm-hmm. And Nate, what week does real football start? When does that typically align for you? It's like just give me any number. I'll do for
this discussion. Steve Spagnuolo really doesn't start to lock in on what his team should be until like week 8. He needs half the season just to see things before he actually, if everybody stays healthy, trending in the right direction for November, December, and January football.
Obviously, Jalen Watson's injury ends up having an impact on what the secondary is doing and all of that. So week 8 last year, I love that you picked week 8, Nate, because that's the fewest number of slot corner snaps that Shamari Connor played all year. Then after that, here are Shamari Connor's snaps in the slot last year per Pro Football Focus from week 9 through the Super Bowl. 18, 33, 44, 37, 40, 36, 15, 14, 38, 43, 39. This man lived in the slot last year too. He started playing more in week 10 on. He played a lot in week 1 and 3.
And that was because of the Watson injury
last year.
Yeah, this was because of the Watson injury and because they couldn't trust Najee Johnson quite a bit, and they still threw him out there. And they were one DB short.
Is
we
the
all
trust
knew it
coming
last
for
year.
Noah Williams or Christian Fulton though, or is this just going to be how it goes?
Of course.
Don't say of course like that, like it's a
of
sure
course.
thing.
No. I'm sorry. Of course. Like Christian Fulton might be on the field against the Detroit Lions. We might see more of Noah Williams. We might not see Shamari Connor be in the slot much of next week. I mean, one of the things that I think is interestingly and percolating is, when does Trent McDuffie say no more? The way that L'Jarius Sneed said, no, it actually needs to be Trent in the slot, and I need to be on the outside because even I have eyes to decide that guy is better equipped to play the slot than I did. And that was the 2022 season, 2023 season, excuse me, where they put Trent in the slot. And that was mostly because L'Jarius Sneed told Steve Spagnuolo, this is where we are at our best. And it's interesting now, without Justin Reid, when will Trent McDuffie say this is when we're at our best? Because he's got the best relationship to suggest that with Steve Spagnuolo. And I'm being incredibly honest, guys. Weeks 1 through 6, he do not care. And he especially doesn't care when he has no respect whatsoever for Trevor Lawrence. And that's what got them beat.
Season low 4 slot corner snaps for Trent McDuffie yesterday, Seth.
And with somewhat predictable results. And it just is what it is. It's stupid, it's foolish, it's arrogant. It doesn't help. It's not.
Correct.
It
Correct.
doesn't do anything to help. And for listeners, I think you might be mistaking Nate like defending or carrying water for Spags. He's not saying any of this is a good idea.
Correct.
He's just saying this is.
That's why I'm laughing at myself at 2 a.m. in Jacksonville, because I start looking at the advanced stats and I go, "Oh my God, he never put a traditional like where's the stunts? He never did an actual blitz that we saw against Lamar Jackson. He never put a spy out there. He never played Noah Williams. It was all comical. He asked Chris Jones to be on the field the entire game.
And then you end up having multiple stoppages and play moments after, I think it was 8 or 9 straight pass rush snaps, and you just don't swap them out one time. Now, look, we can talk about Jones because we can maybe shift over. Here's the thing. The secondary still overall looked pretty good for the most part. A couple of those throws, like the one Watson, I think Watson grazed that ball. It really is a game of inches.
Yep.
It really is. He was so close, and I'm glad that he just said, hey, great ball. Good for him.
Yep.
But I would just note that you have guys that have shown they can play, and you have them playing at their best in certain roles, and it's an incredibly frustrating thing watching the same thing happen over and over and over, because it's easy to say. It's kind of like last year, it's like, oh man, they just keep getting away with it until you get blasted by a team that's too good for shenanigans. When you're so reliant on your ability to dial it up just right, and this has been, Andy Reid's an incredible coach, but that's been a weakness of his throughout his career, is an over-reliance on your ability to kind of work around things and expect, oh man, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect Trevor Lawrence to flee through the B gap that effectively. Well, he probably can't do that again. And then he does it 4 more times, and you just don't do anything.
It's the most scrambles he's ever had in a single game in his entire 5-year career.
Right, but at the same time, officer, this is the most drinks I've ever had before I've gotten behind the wheel of a car. No one freaking cares when the thing happens. Mm-hmm. And that's just where you have to be willing to dial back the arrogance in the moment where the things are happening. And again, Spags is a great coach. There's not a dynasty without him.
Correct.
Incredibly glad. But this kind of tinkering stuff, maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe the Chiefs are about to maybe they're about to play better than anyone expects against the Lions offense. That's not off the table. It's not. Spags has put people in torture chambers before. Ben Johnson's teams didn't do incredible against him, even without Chris Jones in the 2023 season.
Right.
Although, again, that was a little bit of a different defense. So, I mean, that's not off the table. And then maybe they win 10 straight. But that's one of those things where it's I do think there are times, one of the dangers with significant success over time is you mistake good results for good process. And that doesn't necessarily mean you've got a good process just because you have good results. It might just be that you got lucky. It might be that someone bailed you out, whether it's someone bailed you out for good on your side or someone made a mistake on the other side.
It's really nice when the person who's bailing you out the most is in the absolute prime of his career, the peak athleticism at his position, is an absolute alien, and can justify a lot of what you're doing because he is that special of a player. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we are watching in real time a defensive tackle, pass rush extraordinaire, be asked to carry the defense like Goku needs another spirit bomb while he's being absolutely put in a torture chamber. There are moments, I just want to make this very clear, guys. The biggest criticism I have is not of Chris Jones. It is the coaching staff being unwilling to not rely on him as much as he gets older under a contract that is absolutely gargantuan.
It's huge. Which, by the way, people that think that, the Chiefs need to trade Chris Jones or move on from him, his contract is massive. He's a Chief until 2027, probably 2028, and he's still playing overall well. His PFF grades are way down, but that's one thing.
He's still an impactful player, but he's
still their best defensive lineman by a marathon.
Oh my!
Yes.
And he's still one of the best defensive linemen in the entire league.
Correct.
It's just, can you build the whole plane out of Chris Jones anymore?
No. I think we're realizing against functional offenses without proper scheme, player being put in the right position, the answer is starting to become no, because he's 30 and he ate a million double teams and still won at an insanely high rate. And the reason why you're able to sack Trevor Lawrence on the final drive is because Chris Jones splits a tight end and a lineman and forces the flush and almost gets the sack on his own. But ladies and gentlemen, that's the moment where he died. He put everything he could into that snap, and I watched it from the press box. He turns to the sideline, and there's no one coming for him. Yep. There's no substitute. He's on the field the entire drive, and that's why, as inexplicable as it is for him not to move his body, he has nothing left.
And it's a bad look. We can all acknowledge that. It's a bad look. It looked
Correct.
bad for him. It was rough. He could have at least faked it more. What he was doing initially, he didn't expect Trevor Lawrence to fall down.
No one did.
And so what he's expecting, he's done, and I've seen him do this before. He backs off a little, and he'll try to swat and get a hand up. Fair enough. He saw that the offensive line bunched up. Okay, I'm going to try to knock it down. There's no way I'm winning my pass rush. Okay. Oh, crap. He's on the ground. Okay, and he had nothing left. That's still a terrible look for Jones.
Yes.
And there's a reason he deleted Twitter. He knows
Correct.
It's a terrible look.
Correct.
Well, he didn't delete Twitter. He deleted his Twitter account.
But Josh, just real quick.
God, I wish you would have just deleted the whole thing.
Right. Josh, give us, if you can do this, find the snap counts and go from top to bottom. Because I just want people.
I'm looking at him right now. Who do you want?
I want you to reference every defensive lineman and how many snaps he played. Gotcha. From bottom to the top. We know who's at the top, but the way
do we have time to tell it as a full story and still get the special teams?
Yes, just do it, man. Because
okay,
they're asking.
I'll get to these.
They're still asking the world of him.
Mm-hmm.
So not only the world, in this game, Chris Jones plays 48 snaps. That's 83%. That is more than George Karlaftis, who played 44, 76% of the snaps. Charles Omenihu next, 31 snaps, just over half. Jerry Tillery, 26, just under half. Ashton Gelati, 25. Derek Nottie, 22. Mike Dana, 18. Marlon Tuipulotu, who was called up from the practice squad and activated because Omar Norman Lott was out, 6.
And by the way, Tillery and Omenihu are thanking Chris Jones for what he did on that play, because the reason that gap was wide open was because Omenihu got buried, and the reason Drew Tranquill didn't tackle Lawrence is because Tillery, and again, this is a see-ball, get-ball league. I'm not blaming Tillery for this. Sure. He's just going for the quarterback. But Tillery knocked into, Tranquill almost got him. Tillery knocked into him and knocked him off his spot. Otherwise, Lawrence goes down there, and they're sprinting back to the line and doing a panicked, holy crap, we got to throw like a fade or something here. And I don't even know what Jones would have done for the next play. Probably the same thing, look to swat something. But like that, because he would have been tackled, and now we're talking tick, 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 tick.
Right,
tick,
exactly.
So that was, they've, to me, if you're going to do something, everyone's talking about running back. Honestly, if they keep running under center, Pacheco looks functional, and Brashard Smith, I think, can sprinkle in enough explosives. Call the Titans and see what Jeffrey Simmons is doing. Anything, any help, anyone who can win one-on-one so you don't have to build the entire pass rush plan around Chris Jones. George Karlaftis is a guy who collects a lot of pressures, is a good scheme fit, but he doesn't win enough to build a pass rush around him. He's a complementary piece.
He had nothing left to give, guys.
You guys want to
He
talk
had
about
nothing
special
left.
teams? Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. They all stink. All of them.
Special teams?
All right, that's going to do it
All
for
of
today's show. We'll talk to you Thursday.
They all stink. Like Harrison Butker had a clean sheet until he didn't, and then he pooped his pants, kicked it out of bounds. They all stink.
What the crap was that, honestly? This is another game of inches moment.
Correct.
Where, and I don't know what the plan was. I'm assuming they're trying to squib, which is, I get why, because if you squib successfully, it runs 10 seconds off the clock. You probably tackle them around the 30, give or take. And that's picture the 30 instead of the 40 with 10 fewer seconds. It's an entirely different drive. Or when the Chiefs get the ball back with 16 seconds left, imagine having it at the 34 instead of the 17. It is uncanny how badly they played on special teams. So that's why, again, I'm not willing to this was a really frustrating game, but all these things had to go wrong for them to lose against a team that looks pretty solid. The special teams was a glaring weakness because even the 4th and 2 punts, you coffin corner one of those and maybe it changes things. I
think because of the new rules and because special team coaches, not just Dave Toll, just around the league, are trying to accentuate their value. They're trying to prove their value. They want their kickers to kick it into the corner. And when the game's that late and you're giving the team the ball at the 40, just kick it in the middle of the field. You have 10 guys that you have accounted to tackle the ball carrier.
And Butker did get a tackle earlier, so you can.
And Butker's best play was being the 11th guy who got the freaking tackle.
Yeah, so kick it in the middle of the field. Give him a two-way go. He can go left or right, but you can't overthink this as a coach and ask your kicker to do something where the other team is daring you, begging you to kick it towards the sideline so that on an off chance, because again, it's a silly sport where the ball isn't round, it could bounce out of bounds, and that's immediately 40 yards in our advantage.
Yep.
Another little thing that hasn't gotten much. Sorry, Seth. My internet I've got a lag here, so I'm not just being rude to my dear friends Seth and Nate today. I was being rude to Nate earlier, but he deserved it. The punt that Ariza took from the Jacksonville 44 would have also been about a 60-ish yard field goal, right? The way that the balls are flying around the NFL right now, Harrison Butker a year or two ago is getting a chance to kick that field goal. Again, at least adjusting for the fact that it feels like every kicker in the league has added 5 to 10 yards to their range with the kicking ball rule changing. That's just another one where that's not a Butker mistake. That's a Butker lack of trust. And so they punt it from the Jags 44. And
it becomes an issue. And again, who knows? I assume Butker will get it together. He's shown a fair amount to show us that he likely will. We'll see, right? But it's definitely problematic when you reach a point to where you've lost trust in someone who has been, at the very least, a very important, I don't know if I would call Butker a foundational piece of the dynasty.
But
He's made a ton of really clutch kicks, and his ability to nail 50 plus even when he's been in slumps has been a big deal. And so whatever they've got going on there, it's less than optimal. And what you see in a league that's increasingly full of parity, there's no undefeated teams. The Patriots beat the Bills. There's all sorts of weird stuff going on. I think that when you lose a microscopic advantage that you've consistently had, it can be problematic. Now, another thing we've seen, and I think someone commented this, year after year after year, the special teams unit, by the time we get to January, is usually from midseason on, and then especially in January and then the playoffs, usually a top-tier unit. And if that happens again, I'm going to take a deep breath and say, yep, it happened again. But that doesn't make it any less frustrating on October 7th. Because this was a super winnable game in a super vulnerable AFC West and a super vulnerable AFC. And it's just a frustrating thing. Again, 2-3 is not the end of the world. 2-4 wouldn't be the end of the world. It is just a frustrating thing to see overall that their second the Chargers game, they got outplayed by the Chargers for the most part. That happens. But the Eagles game and the Jags game were two that they had to screw up to lose, and they did. And that's incredibly frustrating.
That's exactly what I was going to say to wrap us up here, Seth, is that I really do think that if this is your first loss of the season, that's one thing. If it's your second loss of the season, the vibes would be completely different. We'd be talking about 2 good weeks in a row from the Chiefs offense, 2 good weeks in a row from the offensive line, and you can't keep losing games like that. But they'd still be at the top of the AFC West right now, even if they still lost to the Chargers back in Week 1. They'd be tied with the 3-2 teams there. But the margin for error is too small now. It is shrunk down to very, very, very little. And I think we'll probably have some carryover for this game on Thursday as we preview Chiefs-Lions, Sunday Night Football at Arrowhead. That is a massive game, and I don't know. Did I see that the Chiefs opened as favorites? Is that real? That seems crazy to me. They still – now it's 2.5. Fascinating. Look, man, I don't know. Maybe we're all too close to it sometimes, but that'll be – Tucker said the line moved up after they lost. It looked like it opened at 1.5 Chiefs, and now it's 2.5. Crazy. But I digress. That'll be on the docket for Thursday. I hope this was therapeutic for everyone listening as much as it was for the 3 of us. And with that being said, Nate, you can get us out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor and a pleasure to be with you for these last 67 minutes. I just want to remind you of one more thing, okay? Now, your team is still capable of being good. Heck, maybe even above average. The ability to waste, and I know I'm not the one saying this. I am merely just a vessel for our Lord and Savior. Think about this, guys. Patrick Mahomes is the only quarterback this season to have a game in which he threw for more than 300 yards, led his team in rushing with at least 50 or more rushing yards, had a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown, and lost. Look, man, I asked you guys. I asked you guys with full sincerity, ladies and gentlemen. It was late in the game. I could see where this was going. The Chiefs play what again?
Badly?
It's got to be weird. If it ain't the Chiefs, it's got to be weird. What did the Chiefs play again? There it is on your screen.
The Lions are averaging like 60 points a game. Holy crap.
It'll be weird. Don't worry.
Could have just called this show